Hello everyone, I'm Alex and welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys are doing well. It's another update on the 8-passenger situation. This one is quite a harrowing one. One of the sisters has come out and responded about everything to do with Ruby Frank, addressing people who have been coming after her, blaming her for what her sister has been doing. Now, before we get into this video, obviously it's not anything to do with the sisters, right? You know, it's family, but you're not aware of everything that goes on inside the family's home to the extent that people have seen now. But I thought we would watch the video anyway, because there might be some stuff in there that potentially we don't know about this case. And it'll be interesting to see what other people who actually know Ruby Franke actually think.
This feels like a very impossible video to make. I know that my words will be used against me. I also know that my words may help people understand me a little. I can only speak for myself, and I will only be speaking for myself, other than the judge has asked us not to speak on certain topics that I will not be touching on.
Now, that's quite an obvious response. I've seen a minority of people who seem to be annoyed that people aren't just kind of coming out and, you know, spilling their guts about every interaction they've ever had and, you know, just talking about the case publicly. But if you're actually involved in it or close or part of the family, when it's something that, you know, just would be ill-advised, you don't really want stuff like necessarily leaking out publicly. You know, if it all gets dealt with in a court of law, we'll find out about what happened anyway. So people kind of like baying for blood, who are desperate to kind of just like have loads of people come out and just kind of leak stuff and leak as many details as possible. I don't think they understand that that would not be a good idea. Although when you go and read the comments on the YouTube channel, everything seems to mainly be about Kevin, which is the father of the YouTube channel, more than it is about Ruby, because obviously the debate is who's going to get like the rights to the children, who is going to be left with them. And the idea that Ruby is the monster and Kevin is kind of an innocent bystander is not really the case. If you've watched any of the YouTube videos, he's clearly right in there with her. He may not be holding the camera all the time, saying everything, but he was enacting the punishments, joining in, and also encouraging Ruby, and seemed to co-sign on her parenting methods.
What my family and I have gone through the last couple of weeks is the worst thing that has ever happened to us. It is, I spent the first week in complete shock, where I felt my body and my mind and my emotions were completely paralyzed because of the just absolute shock.
It's a really fascinating situation that you've got here, because for people who don't know, Bonnie, who's the sister that we're looking at right now, she has 1.4 million subscribers, also has a YouTube channel where when you click on it, it's clearly very family oriented. You've got a YouTube channel trailer here that, you know, if I play through, it's just another family channel. It seems like these sisters have kind of all built their careers sharing a YouTube family life. Now, I hate YouTube family channels anyway. I mean, we're looking at this channel here, and okay, it seems more awesome and cool and sweet, and like, look at all of these kids and children, and, you know, they're on the internet, and you know, they had absolutely no choice in it, but I guess they're making loads of money off it, and they probably get loads of rewards for it, so it's probably great. But when you're an adult and you look back, you know, some people might think it's great to see all of the memories. It really depends, but I feel like being put in the limelight as a child, it's a big thing to be in the public eye. It's a huge deal, and it's not something that you should enter into lightly, especially unconsciously. I really don't like it by default. Bonnie doesn't seem like she's a bad person. You know, we don't really have a Ruby Frank on our hands. But the family channel thing, I really just hate it. I don't like it. I think it is wrong. these children are going to grow up and they're going to all be like well known by everyone. They'll have like no right to privacy because they were like famous children. And I don't know if you've seen what happens to child stars, but it doesn't really like go very well for them. You rob their chance of being normal people who can grow normal life skills because people are going to know that they're minted. They're going to see all of the details of their life. It just alters who they are and the way that they get to kind of traverse through childhood, which is the most important part of, becoming a human being. It's forever changed. It's just very strange to see how popular these guys are, and the fact that this is what all of these guys do. They just all, have massive YouTube family channels in Utah that have literally here nearly 1 billion views. Of all of this,
the more I learn, my feelings are turning more to anger. I am mad. I am mad at what has happened. I am beyond disgusted, and I feel like it makes me tremble. It makes me tremble because it is unheard of. It's truly unbelievable. Something that I pride myself on, something that I enjoy doing is being transparent. And I cannot be fully transparent with certain aspects of this. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand how the system works. The first thing that I want to say is that we have kept quiet for 3 years on the topic of our sister Ruby.
It's interesting here. It seems like they're acknowledging the fact Bonnie, the other sisters, her family, that they don't like her. And, she's been obviously doing this for a long time. I know it's recently come to a head now, but as we're all aware of all the YouTube clips, this isn't like a recent thing. There's been controversy surrounding Ruby Franke. Just type her name in. There are articles dating back years and years and years and years and years. This isn't really a new thing. Like the alleged child abuse claims, yeah, there's like a lot of those, and they happen very often. I guess now it's an actual legal case. So it's something that you just can't really avoid when it comes to talking about it.
And Jody, and Kevin, and connections. That is what we have stayed quiet about. We did not know what they were doing because, like we said, we were cut off. We did not have access to anyone. My thoughts towards Ruby and Jody and Kevin and connections is that it was all bullcrap. It was complete indoctrination of this thing that they created.
It's fascinating to see it basically be fully just explained as a cult, which it clearly is. It's clearly like a weird kind of group that they've connected where they're like the heads of it, and they give out advice and everybody goes to them, and they're in control, and they get to control not just the children but other parents, and weirdly use religion massively as a part of it, and that's a big thing that they've used. Is they've used religion to manipulate people many times and to get people in on the system because they're like, this is what we're doing, and this is all for God. And I could see why, if you are another religious person, somebody doing that to your religion might deeply upset you. But it's very interesting that Ruby Franke and the dad is mentioned alongside them, which hasn't really been happening, as somebody who has cut these people off, intentionally, and the dad being actually attached to the case, which hasn't really been happening. He seems to be getting the debate of, did he really know? Maybe he should have the kids. And based on this, I'm getting the vibe that maybe he shouldn't be. Maybe he is as involved as it seems like he could have been from the vlogs. It's very strange that because Ruby and Jody sit next to each other a lot and they make most of the content with each other and they officially run those pages, Dad kind of falls under the wayside when he's clearly as bad as them.
Agree with how extreme they are on everything. I knew they were weird. I knew that they were off. Those are the things that we kept quiet about, because what was I going to say? What was I going to do? I was not going to come out and publicly say that I don't like my sister and I don't like what she's doing and I think she's weird. That is what we kept quiet about. It wasn't until about a year ago when we were able to reconnect with Sherry. Again, we kept that quiet. We never came out and said anything. You guys saw us together, and those were little glimpses when Sherry was ready to allow us to show those glimpses with her permission. And it was then that we were learning slowly bits and pieces of more. And that's where the part of behind the scenes, we did everything that we could. We did everything legally that we could do.
That's interesting that they connected with one of the daughters of the 8 passengers, their sister, and they genuinely actually tried to do something to help the rest of the kids, which is, good. I mean, it's really sad that nothing happened sooner and that we ended up where we are, where one of them has to literally escape captivity for the whole thing to be brought crashing down. It makes you think, if there's all of this instant evidence and then other family members are going, we've got one of the kids here, they're saying that this shit is going down in this house, that the mum is crazy, the dad is crazy, and there's this weird friend of the family who's also crazy, and nothing gets done about that. It just makes you think what's going on, really, and they're a famous YouTube channel, normally, they get priority, in a neighborhood. People would, go and check to see what's going on. Is everything okay? You would expect the police to be involved, but the fact that they just kind of fobbed it off is really disturbing. If they're not getting any help, if nobody's looking into them, then what's hope for people who have less of a public image, aren't famous in the town, aren't people who are of interest. It's disturbing, to say the least.
And for those that were saying that they'd go in and bust down doors and do whatever it took to end up in jail, because from jail, I can't do anything. So I still stand by what I said, is that I did everything that I could with the knowledge that I had and within the legal rights to Ruby and Kevin. The one person that could have done something within his legal right was Kevin. We had zero contact with him. It was Kevin's job to check in on things, and he did not. So when I say that Ruby and Kevin and Jody and connections have been destroying our lives offline for the last 3 years, that is exactly what they've been doing.
That is wild that she has directly called out the dad there as the person who could have done something to stop this, because I deeply agree based on what I've seen. He was a strict parent for sure, sent his son off to a wilderness camp. He's a dick. That's probably putting it quite lightly. He's a horrible man. But is he that horrible? Well, I guess so, because you co-signed on it and you didn't do anything about it. And if you don't do anything about it, you're equally as bad as the people who are doing it. Because if you can sit there in the house and let your wife do that to your kids and not do anything about it, then you're weak, a fraud, and, a child abuser now. I'm amazed he's not sat up there with them. I think it's kind of messed up that he gets to walk into court a free man, because based on everything that I'm seeing here, he was part of it. He was part of it. And to hear the way that, Ruby Franke is now talking about his children, and he's just kind of sat there accepting it, allowing it to happen, is deeply disturbing. Why are you letting the mother of your kids say that they are as horrible as apparently she's describing them to be? I guess it's because he wants to defend her. They want to protect Ruby more than the children. That is just mental. But, people in cults don't normally think straight, do they?
Causing turmoil within our family. We would talk in circles because nothing made sense. Nothing made sense of what they were saying, of what they were doing. And it was off the wall. We couldn't make sense of what they were doing and why. And this is where my anger comes in. Their actions have cast the worst light on me.
Yeah, as much as I don't like anybody kind of running family channels, because as I've explained in detail here, I just think to post your children on the internet in that way can be very damaging for them. She is not her sister, and it seems like they actually have tried to do something, and that has to be acknowledged. And I think people kind of going after them and harassing the other family members to talk about it. I mean, that's YouTube. You know, that's what happens when you're connected to something like this. You know, people will be desperate to kind of get you to talk about it. It's not really fair. And I can see here that, you know, she's angry. They've tried to do stuff. You know, they've done actual action, which is more what you could say for a lot of people who might just be online messaging people going, oh, you should have done something about it. You know, you don't know the family. You don't know the family life. Hence why a lot of these people who are angry now, they were 8 Passengers fans, which is weird to me. I've watched their content. I don't know how anybody could possibly be an 8 Passengers fan. But a lot of these people were. So it's a bit ironic that they're going, oh, how did you not know? How did you not see it? When they were sat there going, subscribe and like. This is great content. Send him to the camp. Yeah, it's a bit hypocritical, but hey, isn't that the internet? I think it's just crazy to me that the dad seems to have managed to dodge a massive bullet. I don't understand how he's managed to do it. I think a lot of focus should be put onto him. I want to hear more from him. I want to know exactly why he hasn't been lumped in with Ruby and Jody. That's something that concerns me. I'll be back with another video tomorrow. I'm basically going to be uploading for the next couple of days, just every single day. So if you want to subscribe, there's plenty of more content coming on this situation and plenty of other stuff that's going on YouTube right now. I will see you guys in a new video soon. If you want to watch my other videos on this case, they're linked in the description and on the end screen thing. So you can just click on them right now, and I will see you guys soon. What a sad, sad situation.